once again, welcome to Lucy Mworia Network. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. For those who have, thank you so much for the continued support that you have given us along. Today, in our studio, we do have a very different guest. Like I told you, we will be having this platform is for everybody, is for the young, is for the old, is for the aging, because the platform aging is a continuous process. Everyone is aging, and you start aging the day you were born. Along our interviews, we've had many questions from the young people who've been asking me that you said the platform is for everybody, but you're not inviting the young people. Today we have a young person who is 39 years old, is a widower, is an orphan, is a father of 2 young boys, 8 and 4 years old. He works at the county of Isiolo as a communication public director, and also he has masters in communications. And today with us, we have our guest, Antony Kiarie. Welcome and tell us your story. Yeah, karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa Lucy. My name is Antony Kiarie. I'm 39 years old, and I'm a father of 2 and a widower and an orphan. My life story has not been easy. My journey has not been easy. I was born in a Christian family 39 years ago. My father and mother were both pastors, and they were ministering in Naivasha, in a church in Naivasha. My dad was a bishop. We lost my mom through a road accident in 2017, a grisly road accident. She had just come from, it was on a Thursday evening. She had just come from ministering in a church at Panari Hotel on Mombasa Road. And apparently, when they were going for the church service, she was the one driving the vehicle, the ill-fitted vehicle. And after the service, she said that she was a bit tired, so she could not drive back to where they were spending the night. Luckily, my dad was not in the vehicle. It was my mom and 2 other ministers. And so the vehicle was being driven by someone who was not well conversant with the Mombasa Road. So the person lost control and hit one of the street lights on Mombasa Road. And the vehicle was, I think it was speeding, and it was at night. So my mom passed on the spot. Luckily for the other 2, the driver and the other occupant of the vehicle, they survived. And so we lost my mom in 2017. That thing really affected my dad, because they had been married for over 35 years. It really affected him. And so he started becoming sick in 2018, mid-2018. And even I can remember very well, in 2019, we admitted him in a hospital, and Kiarie Hospital. There he was diagnosed with diabetes and heart issues, probably because of the loneliness that, because most of us had left home. It's only my youngest sister, and she was also in high school, in a boarding high school, Alliance Girls.
So your dad was all alone?
He was all alone.
Did he remarry?
No, he didn't remarry. So I think it is that loneliness that built a lot of pressure in his body, and also limited his diet choice, his dietary choices. And so he developed diabetes and heart condition. So he was able to be treated in 2019, and we went back home, and he observed medication and dietary issues for some time. Then in October of 2020, he collapsed in the house, and I was called from work. By then I started working with the Isiolo County government, and so I had to rush home.
So your dad was living by himself?
He was living by himself.
Even the time he collapsed?
Yes. Luckily, my brother, my third-born brother, that particular weekend he collapsed. They were with him in the house. He had visited. So he's the one who called me. But they had managed to take him to hospital by the time I was arriving at home. Luckily, that time he recovered from that incident. But unfortunately, in 10th February 2021, he collapsed again in the house, in his bedroom. And,
by himself?
By himself. And by then we had someone in the house, my cousin, who was assisting him in dietary needs and also personal issues. But so that fateful morning, he looked for his uncle and only to find that he was not answering. So he went to the bedroom and found him on the floor, having collapsed. He called my younger brother, who came and also found him having collapsed. My younger brother looked for help. They took him to hospital. By the time he was getting to hospital, he was pronounced dead. So that was 2021, early 2021. We are 5 of us in the family. I'm the firstborn. So again, I was called all the way from Isiolo and went to Naivasha for the burial preparations. So we did the burial preparation and laid my father to rest. So I was left as the father and the mother of my young siblings. But by then, because I had a wife, she was also playing the role of the mother. So my younger sister, who is in fact, my dad passed on 2 weeks before my sister sat for her Form 4 exams. But with thank God, she passed. She scored an A, and she was admitted to Kenyatta University for computer science. And she's undertaking that course in computer science. After a few months, in December, okay, my wife fell sick in 2018 December. She was expectant with my last born son, and she developed issues of the feet and the hands swelling. And so we consulted a few doctors in Meru town, and most doctors were saying this is normal for some women. It is a condition called odema. So they didn't take it that seriously. And truth be told, after she delivered in late 2018, that is in December, the feet stopped swelling and the fingers stopped swelling. But in February 2019, she started complaining of pain on her ankles and in her fingers. So we looked for another medical specialist to find out what was the issue. And I remember we went to 2 or 3 doctors, and they said maybe it is arthritis. And so they started treating her for arthritis. But the pain continued up to around March 2019. And that's when we decided we need to look for another opinion, another medical opinion. So we asked around, and we were advised to go to look for another doctor. And we went to Kiarie Hospital, St. Teresa Mission Kiarie Hospital in Meru. And there we found a doctor who did a lot of tests on her. And she was diagnosed with lupus. Lupus is a very serious disease, and apparently it affects women of childbearing age, and it's non-curable. So we started, the medication that you are given is just to help you relieve the pain and help you regain some energy.
Is it like cancer?
Lupus is an autoimmune disease what I mean by autoimmune is the immune system attacking itself. Like now, we know in the normal human body, when you have an attack from outside, your white blood cells will attack that particular foreign thing that is coming to attack your body. But now in this case, you find that white blood cells and antibodies, they attack each other, such that your immune now reduces, goes down. So it's an autoimmune disease.
Did you say it attacks women more or just women?
Yeah.
Of certain age?
Yes, mostly...
According to what the doctors told you, I'm sure you're not a doctor.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. So
according to what the doctors informed us is that it attacks mostly women who are of childbearing age. And let's say in 10 people, you find just one man who has lupus. But you find like 8 women who have lupus at that childbearing age. So she was affected by it, and she could not breastfeed anymore. In fact, my youngest son just breastfeed for 4 or 5 months, and we put him on commercial milk. And so he started taking that milk, and that is what he survived on. Until now, he was now out of that breastfeeding age. So we started medication with that particular doctor in Meru. And for 1 year, that medication continued up to, that was 2020. And there was a particular drug that she was using, and it was very strong. But if I can remember well, between May and August of 2020, in fact, I did not live with my family, because I was new at work. I got my job in April 2019.
In Isiolo?
Yeah, at Isiolo County Government.
And your family lived in Meru County?
Yes. And my wife was sick. So I could not manage these 2 things. So I had to take my wife to her mother, because my mother was no longer there. So the mother requested...
And the family needed to feed?
Yes. The mother requested, now that you have a new job, and we don't want you to lose the job, bring my daughter at home. We can take care of her as you
Where was that
work
now?
In Meru, and I'm working in Isiolo. So it was another 6 months of struggle, because now my wife and my sons are living with
your in-laws.
With my in-laws, and I'm here alone at work. So that thing also.
And she's sick.
And she's sick. So I was worried. I'm at work, I am worried, she's sick.
With a small boy.
With a small boy. And there are times even she could not be able to lift the boy, because lupus affects your energy. It affects your muscles. It affects every joint in your body. There is a time even she could not even hold her own baby. It also affected her emotionally and psychologically. So she needed a lot of support, a lot of psychological support. So I had to engage people from my local church to go and talk to her and also encourage her. I also had to engage a counselor. And I'm also grateful to my in-laws, especially my mother-in-law. She was very supportive. She was very supportive. She really helped us through that journey. And so my wife recovered. I wouldn't say she was fully treated from lupus. Like I said, it's an incurable autoimmune disease, but she recovered and she gained some energy. So she came back to my house at around September of 2019. And we continued with life as a family. Then in October of 2020, the doctor advised that we stop one of the drugs because of the side effects. And we stopped that drug. She stopped.
What could have been the side effect?
She was saying that she was feeling dizzy, somehow weak. Her eyesight was very weak, was becoming weak and light sensitive. She could not even look at the bulb in the house. It was her eyes were becoming light sensitive. So the doctor advised that we drop a particular drug, one of the drugs that she was taking. And for around 8 months, she was not using the drugs. So That was October 2020. That is when my father collapsed in the house and all that. Then we come to February 2010.
So here you are. You have a father who is single in the house in Naivasha.
Yes, yes.
He is also sick.
Yes.
Here your wife is sick in Meru.
Yes, yes.
And here you have a new job in Isiolo.
Yes.
And you are the firstborn in the family of 5.
In the first.
So everything it was you handling.
So it was me handling, and everyone was looking up to me. And I would say is the upbringing that my parents give to me that really helped me, because they rooted me in Christian faith, in believing in God. That is really what helped me through that tough journey. And so handling all those things was not easy for me, because I'm needed at work, I'm needed at home by my sick wife. My dad is on and off of the hospital, so it was not easy. So like I'd said, my dad passed on in February of 2021. Because of that diabetes thing and the heart condition, I think he suffered a heart attack and collapsed it was around 6:45 a.m. that fateful February 10th, 2021.
So your dad could have gone through some depression kind of.
Yes.
As a result of losing his wife.
Yes.
And living by himself.
Yes.
So that loneliness part fastened his death.
Yes, yes. I would say that is what caused his death, because he was still young. He was 59 years. Yeah. At 59, he was still young, I believe. So I would say that is what fastened his death. And
do you feel if your mom was alive or your dad they were living together, maybe you would have lived a little bit better, because he was never sick when your mother was alive?
He was never sick when my mother was alive. So being married to the same person for that 5 years, and then losing that person, this has been your friend, your confidant, your partner in everything that you're doing. I think that really hit him hard, and he reached a point where he could not take it anymore. Yes. So so that is what happened to him. So he passed on February 2021. So we were left as total orphans. So I was left as the father to my siblings, and my sister, my younger sister, was informed for her to sit for exams. Luckily enough, thank God, she passed, and she was admitted to Kenyatta University. And I remember we drove all the way from Meru to Kenyatta University to admit her with my wife, with my late wife. And
that is January, February, when your dad passed on.
Yes.
No, you are your wife was the mother and you are the father.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And she came and lived with us in Meru, and we continue with life. But obviously there are things you go through when you have gone through such experiences. Grief is not an easy thing, and people handle grief in different ways. And I would say grief is a roll ball of emotions. There is sometimes you are angry, sometimes you feel isolated, sometimes you are bitter. You're even bitter to your close friends. You're even bitter to God, and you ask God, why me? Why is these things happening to me? And it's just a roll ball of emotions. Sometimes there's a lot of confusion. You go through a lot of confusion. You don't understand what is happening, and you view life as being unfair, and especially unfair to you. So we went through, personally I went through a lot of emotions then when I was...
So your mom is gone?
Yes.
Your dad is gone?
Yes.
Your wife is very, very sick?
Yes.
You have your sister last born,
yes, yes,
who was to be alone in Naivasha, so you bring her to live with you.
Yes.
So you start playing the role of another parent.
Another parent, yes.
A parent within a parent.
Yes.
That things that you never did when your father or your mother were alive, now you are the one doing them.
Now I'm the one doing them, and I'm expected to do them
the way your dad did.
The way my dad did them, and I'm expected to meet the needs of these siblings, and also to meet the needs of my young family. and
to take care of your sick wife.
To take care of my sick wife. And something that I did not mention is that I was really spending a lot of money on the drugs that my wife was using, or my wife was taking, because it was a must that she takes those drugs for her to continue with life, for her to continue with daily chores and all that. And
already the doctors have told you that she's not going to heal.
Yes, they had informed us that this is an uncurable disease.
Just to live with it.
Just to live with it. It's just to live with it. You're just taking these drugs to help you face the day-to-day activities of life and also the challenges of life.
So do you think if your wife was diagnosed early enough, like you saying, it's like she was misdiagnosed. We saw several doctors, different hospitals. You are told it's arthritis, others think other things without doing proper investigation. Do you think if it was done on time, it could have helped?
I think it could have helped because you see, when you're taking drugs that are not meant for a disease that you don't have, then that means also that affects your body.
And the immune system.
And the immune system. So when you are treating arthritis and you don't have arthritis, that means you are affecting your body and your immune system. So I think there have been stories of how misdiagnosis in this country has really affected lives, and it's a serious issue that needs to be looked into. So it really affected her, and so by the time we were in 2021 September, and we helped our sister to be admitted at the university at Kenyatta University. She was okay. She was not that badly off, and but she started complaining in November of 2021 that the previous feeling she was feeling in 2019 is like they have come back. Remember, there was a drug I had said, the doctor said we have to stop this drug because of the side effect. So in November of 2021, I took her back to the same doctor, and he readmitted the drug. He said that she needs to continue with the drug. So she started taking the drug again, and gave us a clinic of after 3 weeks. So after 3 weeks, we went back, and he said the doctor advised that my wife had really, after a few tests, she had really improved. Her lymphocytes the number of lymphocytes had really improved, and so we needed to stop the same drug again. So she stopped taking the same drug again. But in 23rd December of 2023, we had planned to go for a holiday because it was Christmas anyway. In 23rd December 2023, 2021, she started complaining again that she had pain in the entire of her body. So we decided to go and see the same doctor. But the doctor was not around. So we gave us an appointment of 24th December. So on 24th December, my young sister was coming from university, and we agreed we meet in town, in Meru town. And we took my wife to hospital to see the same doctor, and he treated her, and apparently she was okay again. We even managed to go, because now we had to cancel for holidays, and we decided to have our Christmas in the house. And we decided even to go to the market together. And we went to the market, we did shopping and all that. But 25th in the morning, she started complaining again of pain and all that. So I called the doctor, and the doctor was like, I've already left for Christmas. So he advised us to look for another hospital where she can be treated. And
was that a private doctor?
Yes, he was a private doctor. So on 25th, she complained of a lot of pain in her body. So at around noon, I decided to take her to a hospital, and to St. Teresa's Kiarie Hospital, but we could not reach there because she started screaming in the car and saying she's in a lot of pain. So I decided to take her in a nearby hospital where she would get treatment. So I took her to that hospital, and they started treating her.
It is on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day of 2021. So by 8 p.m. she had started recovering, and also she was even talking. She was jovial. So we agreed, because we had not made dinner for the kids, that I buy takeaway food for the kids and take it to the kids. Then I come back to the hospital to see how she was faring on. So I did that, then came back to the hospital at around 10.
10 at night?
10 at night. And then the doctors advised me that given her condition, they needed to admit her. So to which I agreed, because I had seen the pain that she had gone through on the 25th during the day and in the morning. So they admitted her in that particular hospital. And when we were going to the ward, as I was escorting her to the ward, she used to call me Tony. So she said, Tony, please take care of my boys. But then I didn't understand what she was saying. And so we said goodbye, and she went to the ward. And me, I went back home. Then on the 26th in the morning, at around 1:30, I received a call from the hospital that I need to go to that hospital. So I tried to inquire what was going on. They refused to inform me. So I drove myself to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, they informed me that my wife had passed on.
On Christmas Day?
Yes.
It must have been very difficult for you.
It was very difficult.
How was it like? What was the feeling like?
At first I was very confused, and it's like I saw a blackout.
You were by yourself?
Yes, I was by myself. A huge blackout. And my blood pressure hit levels that are not normal to human beings. Because if I can remember very well, if I can recall, my blood pressure hit around 200.
Do you usually have blood pressure issues?
No. It hit around 200 over 120 something. And my pulse rate was around 105 there. And okay, they did give me some medicine for it to calm down. But now they were also afraid because of that shock. Because when you experience a loved one having passed on like that, because that was a sudden death, there is that moment of shock, and there is that moment of disbelief, because this was a person that I had just talked to a few hours ago. How could this happen? I even started blaming the doctors. I even started blaming myself. Could I have done better? Could I have taken her to a better hospital? So there is that feeling of regret. There is that feeling of denial, anger, bitterness, feeling that you don't deserve this, and a shock. So I went through all those feelings like for 2 or 3 hours by myself. Then now I had to break the news to the in-laws, especially to my mother-in-law. It was very difficult. So what I decided is to wake up a common family friend to come and break this news to my in-laws, because she was also the firstborn in their family. And it was difficult for me to break the news to them. So I called a common family friend who broke the news to them. And I could not face my mother-in-law for like 1.5 hours, because I just let her grieve or mourn her daughter. And I would say it was a terrible morning. It was a terrible Boxing Day.
Where were your children at this time?
My children were with my younger sister in my house.
And they known yet?
No, they hadn't known. So for them to be informed, we had to inform a neighbor who informed my younger sister. And my son only knew, my eldest son, who is now 8, only knew that I had taken the mother to hospital, and also my youngest son only knew that I had taken their mother to the hospital.
Yeah.
So it was difficult. It was a very difficult time. I even looked for my pastor then, but he was not available. But
It's at night.
Yeah. But I managed to look for the wife, and the wife was available. And when we took the body to a morgue, the wife came and consoled with me. That really helped me for that particular day. The wife was there for me, and she really prayed with me, helped me, counseled me. But grief is not an easy thing. I was still not in belief that my wife has gone. Remember, as the firstborn, I had lost my dad the same year, February 2021. This is my wife passing on Christmas Day, December 2021. So, for me, I was trying to heal from my father's experience.
Even from your mom, maybe.
Even from probably my mom's experience. Given that I'm the firstborn, so when you are a firstborn, you try and be there for the others.
Everybody, yeah.
So you are really not grieving when you're not mourning when they are mourning. So it hits you afterwards. So when my siblings were mourning my dad, I was not really mourning. I was just there for them.
But when you say mourning, do you mean the crying and all this? Because you could not be crying, but you're still mourning.
Yeah. I was not really showing emotions.
Is it because that you are people, the society is thinking you are a man, you're supposed to be strong? Could that have contributed to that?
That also contributes a lot, and also that given I was the firstborn,
you're told you're supposed to be end of the family now.
I was trying now to cover up my feelings and all that and my emotions.
Which is very dangerous.
I wouldn't advise anyone watching this thing to do that. If you go through such a thing, it doesn't matter the rank in your family, you should show your emotions. You should really... If you have to, you should really go through whatever you're going through that particular time. That thing really affected me because it hit me later. My dad's departure hit me later, like in October there of 2021. That's when it hit me. And now when I was trying to heal and to come to terms with it.
Digest what really happened. Your wife goes.
Then my wife goes.
Do you think when people come to console others and you tell people like, I know what you're feeling, do you think they really know what you're feeling?
I would say
because a lot of people are used to that. Oh, Paul, I know what you're feeling. Is there anything like you know what you're feeling?
And I would say that is really in the African culture, where people say, I know what you're feeling, I know what you're going through. Not anybody knows what you're going through. In fact, grief and mourning is unique because you have that unique relationship either with your parent or with your spouse. Nobody understands what you're going through. So I would really tell people not to tell people that I know what you're feeling. No, grief is unique, mourning is unique.
Even your own sibling,
everyone mourns differently.
And heals differently.
And heals differently. And in fact, the healing from a departure or the death of a loved one there is no set time. In fact, there are people who don't forget that thing for the rest of their lives, especially a spouse. There are people who stay with that scar for the rest of their lives.
You know, like us Africans, like you're saying, you lost your parents. People come to your house that time, immediately they bury the person. You don't see anyone anymore.
You don't hear from people anymore. You even look for people and they are like, you should go on with life. So, in fact, when I lost my wife after the burial, I didn't see people. Only my in-laws were there for me, and they're still there for me. I didn't see people again. And people promise even to visit me.
Even the church?
Yeah, to be there for me. People you don't see them again.
You carry your cross.
You carry your cross. And I would say it has not been easy being a young widower and being an orphan. And being a person who is working and in a field that is very demanding. You are required to be there, to be on your toes.
The communication department.
Yeah, I work as a director of public communication in the county government of Isiolo. You are required to know, to have information and to relay information, relevant government information to the public, and to know what is going on, political issues that are going on in the county.
Now you have many personal issues going on.
You have very many personal issues going on. Why it not for my faith in God, I would have collapsed or given up very early, because the departure of my wife, the death of my wife, really affected me.
So how has it been with your life and your young boys? The three of you now, no one else is there for you, and you're still there for your family. How has it been?
It has not been easy. And you hear people talk and people say, especially when a person dies of a disease that not very many people know of, you hear people say maybe she passed on because of cancer. Many people think lupus is cancer because there's somehow some similarities because of the way it affects your immunity.
Yeah.
And you hear stories out there, and I just decided to give those stories a blind ear, a deaf ear, because if I would have allowed what the community was saying to affect me, then it would have really adversely affected my life. So I would say it has not been easy bringing up two boys, especially when the young one, when my wife passed on, he was still in pampers, he was still in diapers. So I had to, even when she was around, I was helping around because her energy was not that good. But I had now to do more of...
You had to be the mother and the father.
And the father. So more of motherly duties now in the house. So I had to change diapers. I had to relearn on how to do things, feed the young one, make sure that... I looked for help, for house help, but you see, the house help will not do everything. And my house help is a day bag, one who comes in the morning and leaves in the evening.
So you must be in the house.
So I must be in the house in the evening at a particular time.
So like the life that other young men like you are having, you're out of it.
I'm out of it completely.
You're not in the social life of a young men like you.
Yes. I have to be out of it completely because I have to be there for my sons. I have to be home early. When they come from school, I have to be there so that I assist them with their homework, I assist them with the, when children are at that age, you need to look at their homework, at their dressing, are they taking care of themselves well? Are they being cleaned? Are they being washed well? Are their clothes clean and all that? Are they feeding well? And sometimes, like especially the young one who is now 4, children under 5 are really affected by different diseases. And I remember the other day he was sick with tonsillitis, which really hit him hard. So I had to learn motherly skills. And which drugs do you give to which medicines do you give to a children to a child for the simple thing as a cold, a fever. So it has really changed my way of thinking, changed my way. So I have to put on not 2 hats, like 4 hats, because I have to be a father and a mother for my siblings. I have to be a father and a mother for my sons. Yes.
Wow. You must be very, very strong.
Yeah, I would say it's God who has helped me. In fact, I remember in January, February, and March of this year of 2022, I was not able to sleep for quite some time, from January, February, and March, because that thing really affects you.
Did you see the doctor?
I had to
struggled it by yourself?
No, I had to go for counseling, and someone recommended counseling Parklands Baptist Church here in Nairobi, and because of my kids, I could not.
Even the counseling, you want to go for it?
Yet I could not come for counseling physically So I enrolled for online counseling, which I did for 2 or 3 months, and it really helped me because...
so there is online counseling?
Yes, there is, and I would advise people to go for counseling. Don't go through such an experience alone, because it can also put you down. Losing a loved one, especially a spouse, it can put you down.
Now that because you are a human being, you're still young, do you have any plans of getting remarried?
I would say yes and no. Because, okay, yes, because I know my sons need a mother, but no, because I don't know how that person is going to treat my children. Because I have put the needs of my kids before my needs. That is very important as a parent. And
so as a parent,
yes.
Who is a parent? A single parent.
Who is a single parent?
And a father.
And a father. It's important that you put the needs of your children before your needs.
And that's what you have done.
And that is what I've decided to do. And so I've prayed that, and I've engaged people, my friends who I know who pray a lot, to help me in that journey of praying.
So you have not made any decision yet?
I'm here to make a
decision.
Not
in a hurry.
And I'm not in a hurry to remarry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you are to look at the camera and talk to a young man like you, because he must be there somewhere, who is an orphan, and maybe is also a widow, what would you tell them?
You might have watched this program, and maybe you are an orphan and a young widower. I would love to encourage you that you're not alone in this journey, and it is important you look for a counselor. You go for counseling, and also put your faith, if you're a Christian, to put your faith in God. Remember the psalmist in Psalm 23 said, "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not fear evil. The Lord and the staff, they comfort me." Also, I discovered through my journey that God doesn't really want you to go through such a thing for yourself. He might want for you to go through such a journey for someone else who doesn't have the strength that God has invested in you to help them go through such a journey. Going through this journey, I have met 1 or 2 people who have lost their spouses. For example, there is a bus that had a very bad accident at the Nithi Bridge. And in that bus, one of my friends, a very young engineer, I think he was 32 years, perished in that bus and left a wife of around 28 years. So when that happened, I had to be there for the wife because I had gone through something, but I didn't go telling the wife, I understand what you're going through. I just encouraged her that this is life, this thing has happened, you need to face life, and you need to be there for your children, because also she's now a widow, a young widow, and she has been left behind with 2 children. And so maybe you can go through, you might go through something in life so that you can encourage someone else in the future. And that person might be a friend or a stranger. So if you are a young widower or an orphan going through this thing, just know that there was in the Bible that encouraged me in 2 Corinthians verses chapter 1, 3 and 4. The Bible says that God is the Father of compassion and sympathy, and is the Father of compassion and sympathy, and that is verses 3. And having gone through troubles, He encourages you to go through those troubles so that you can be an encourager to someone else. So maybe I have gone through these issues to be an encourager to someone else, and maybe you are going through the same issues to encourage someone else. And I'm open to encouraging people who are going through the experience that I've gone through. Yeah.
What aren't you thinking starting a support group for, these things happen?
Yes.
And do you think there's anything you could tell the community, the society? Could they have behaved or behave differently to such people like you?
Yeah.
Do you think they could do things differently?
Yeah, to the society or the community, when we go through such things, it is not our choice. It is not our liking to go through such. Nobody would wish to lose a wife at a young age. So it is important that you understand young widowers, young widows, that we are human beings, and when we lose our spouses, maybe you will see us behaving differently, maybe you will see us treating you differently. Please understand us, and also you can put yourself in our shoes and understand what we are going through. Yes, and also if you promise someone, maybe a friend or a relative has lost a loved one, if you say when they are going through the mourning period that you'll be there for them, keep your word. Yes. Wow. Keep your word. Be there for them.
And now, Kiarie.
Yes.
In other countries, people like counselor psychologists, they are very useful. Like I know in the US, if you are like the time you lost your wife immediately when you are jungling by yourself in the middle of the night, there could have been an immediate counselor there in the hospitals. And I think in this country, counselors are not really even known what they need to be doing. And what would you tell our government about these counselors? Because these issues of accidents, deaths, they are there, and when people come and they stay with you and you just bury somebody, that is the end. What would you tell our government? What would you wish them they would do?
I would wish the government to provide for and also employ counselors, psychiatrists and counselors, especially in public hospitals. Because when people lose their loved ones in road accidents, may it be through sickness and disease, they go through a lot, and they go through a lot of emotions, and some of them go to the extent of even having suicidal thoughts. And so these are people who need immediate help. So I would challenge the government to provide counselors in hospitals and also private hospitals, because some of us, when these issues happen, we take our loved ones to private hospitals. It is important that they provide a counselor in that hospital, in those hospitals, and also maybe go an extra mile of training their doctors in counseling. It is very important. Yes.
So that was Antony Kiarie, a widow, a young orphan, who has 2 young sons. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
And it is like the first anniversary since your wife passed on last Christmas.
Yes.
Also, may we wish her to continue resting in peace.
Yes.
And congratulations on the good job you have done to your family and your children.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So viewers, if you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe, and we will continue updating you on more stories, more things that are applicable in the real life. Today, now we have this young man here. We think this platform is for all of us. If you have any stories you'd like to share, you're welcome. And thank you so much, Kiarie.
Thank you.
And God bless you.
Amen.
Happy early Merry Christmas. And we are going to, Kenyans are hearing your stories. And now they hear is not just the story of your parents has come here, like how your dad struggled by himself when he was alone. And we wish you are not going to struggle alone.
Yes, thank
God
you.
bless you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes,
just
sure.
To say thank you to a few people.
Yeah.
I would want to appreciate a few people who have also been there for us as a family. I would want to appreciate Bishop Wilfred Lai of Mombasa for supporting my family and for deciding to educate my young sister. I also want to appreciate my in-laws for being there for me. I don't take it for granted. I also want to appreciate my colleagues at work and my bosses for understanding my journey and being there for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Amen.